Hello, welcome back to episode number 14 of the Leading Yourself podcast. We have been talking in the last episodes about living our best lives, achieving our goals, changing habits, and making an impact. Just in the previous episode, in episode 13, we talked about the importance of consistency as an enabler for success. Today, I want to talk to you about confidence as another key enabler to help us achieve our goals and ultimately live our best lives. There has been many instances in my life when I have lacked self-confidence, and that lack of confidence had led me to not believe in myself, to doubt whether I should pursue the things that I wanted to accomplish, and ultimately, in some cases, even to give up. In today's episode, I want to share with you my perspectives on this topic, my lessons learned, and the things that helped me build my confidence. Did you notice I just used present tense and not past tense? That is because I don't believe that confidence is a destination, but rather a journey, and we need to be constantly building our confidence. Welcome to the Leading Yourself podcast. This is your host, Carolina de Arriba. I'm an HR professional, health and fitness coach, wife, mom, and above all things, a goal-getter. In this podcast, we're going to be digging into all things leadership, professional and career development, habits, and relationships. This is a podcast for those who want to become the best version of themselves. Those who have big dreams and are willing to embrace the journey and put in the work to achieve them. My goal is to share with you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you in your journey. So let's dig into today's episode. Self-confidence is your belief in how good you are at doing something. It's that general view on how likely you are to accomplish a goal, especially based on your past experience. Self-confidence is important and it matters because not only makes you feel better, but it also helps you take risks to make tangible improvements in your life. Self-confidence leads to more positivity, more happiness, and resilience. The lack of confidence typically leads to a lack of action. When we doubt about ourselves, we are afraid of taking that first step to take action. And we know without action, there's no progress or results. That is why building self-confidence is so important and key for success. Maybe now you also understand why I said that confidence is not a destination, but a journey. You might have high self-confidence in certain aspects of your life or in a certain situation in a point in time, but totally lack it in others. And as you face new situations and new challenges, and you aim for bigger dreams and goals you want to accomplish, you also need to build more self-confidence in your ability to deal and succeed at them. For many years, I was always the youngest and typically also the only woman or one of the few in the leadership teams that I've been part of. No one said anything to me, but in my head, I limited myself by these things. My self-confidence was very weak and fragile. I used to doubt myself and feel insecure because of my age and the fact that I was one of the few women working in a male-dominated industry. Even when I had great ideas to share and contribute with what I would think and rethink them in my head and question whether should I even share them or not. I didn't like that feeling of insecurity and fear and decided to work on it. I was determined to erase it from my thoughts and stop it from stopping me, from preventing me from being myself, from reaching my goals and making the kind of impact that I wanted to make. Today, I want to share with you the things that I've learned and done over the years to build and boost my self-confidence. Some of these I apply to build my confidence in a particular situation or point in time, and others to build my overall self-confidence. So let's dig into the 10 tips, the 10 lessons learned, the 10 things that have helped me build and boost my confidence. Number 1, develop your competence. Confidence can't and will not make you competent. In other words, self-confidence will not magically make you better at what you do, but it will prime you to take the risks necessary to achieve your goals. Developing competence, though, will increase your confidence. Remember last time you had to make a presentation at work? I bet you feel much more confident that time that you were familiar with the content than those times that you were not. If you feel a lack of confidence in a particular area of your life or in a particular situation, invest some time in developing your competence. Reading, studying, meeting with experts, practicing. The more competent that you are, the more confident that you will become. Number 2, visualize yourself as you want to be. I use this particular strategy in specific situations as well as to build my overall confidence. And I find it a very effective way to boost and build my confidence. Let's say that I have an important meeting or presentation at work, or like last week that I was talking to a crowd of people. When I feel insecure and nervous about a situation, it helps me to visualize the situation and visualize myself as my best self, doing a good job, feeling confident and crushing it. I try to visualize it as vividly as I can. I close my eyes and I can see the clothes that I'm wearing. Where am I sitting or standing in the room? What is my posture and body language? I can see the people in the room. I can see myself doing a really good job, feeling very confident and being successful in that situation. Automatically, I start feeling more confident. I use this technique also to help me boost my overall confidence. I try to visualize myself in 3, 5, or 10 years from now. I focus on every single detail. How I look, how I feel, what clothes am I wearing, where am I, what am I doing? Basically, I dream awake with the life that I want to live. I can see myself fulfilling all my dreams, having accomplished all my goals. It feels so real. This little exercise automatically boosts my self-confidence. I can see myself doing and being my best self. And then I know that it's possible. Even though right now, outside of my dreams, it feels impossible or so far away and unreachable. Number 3, get things done. Confidence is built on accomplishment. When you accomplish something, your adrenaline spikes, and all of a sudden, so does your self-confidence. That is why I try to get something accomplished first thing in the morning. Just like I take my multivitamins every morning, crossing something off my to-do list, accomplishing something first thing in the morning is like my personal supplement to boost my self-confidence. It doesn't have to be something big. Anything counts. The key is that you do something that gives you a sense of accomplishment. Sometimes it's getting through my workout without giving up, even though it feels challenging. Other days is just getting everything and everyone ready and out of the door on time. And sometimes it's something bigger, like tackling or closing an open topic at work. The key is to do something that gives you a sense of accomplishment very early in your day. Number 4, talking about accomplishments. Really, list your accomplishments. At the end of every month and every year, as part of my monthly and annual reflections, I write down my accomplishments. Many times we are so busy with everything we need to do that we don't realize how much we have accomplished. Taking the time to pause and reflect on our key accomplishments can help you build your self-confidence. When feeling insecure on a particular area of my life or a particular situation, I try to think of what I've already accomplished. I might still be far away from the finish line, but recognizing the progress that I've made so far helps me boost my confidence. And I feel like I got this. I feel I can do this. I can get to that finish line. Number 5, do one thing that scares you every day. Some time ago, I came across this quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, and I try to follow it every day, or at least a few times every week. I push myself out of my comfort zone and try to do something that scares me. The more you do this, the less scared you become, the more confident you become. I talk about this in previous podcast episodes, but stepping out of your comfort zone is like magic. As you step out of your comfort zone, yes, at the beginning it feels uncomfortable and it might be scary. But the more that you do that, the more that your comfort zone expands and grows, and the more comfortable that you will become and the less scared that you will be about the things that a few months ago or weeks ago you were scared about. Number 6, question your inner critic and challenge your limiting beliefs. Let's be realistic. We all have that little voice inside our heads that makes us doubt. And when we let it talk, when we listen to it, we become our worst enemy. How do I go about quieting that inner critic? First, I believe it all starts with building self-awareness. Catching every time that you find yourself talking negatively to yourself. That self-awareness is so important. Trying to identify any patterns or triggers. And if you're able to shut down those triggers, you'll be able to quiet that inner voice. Of course, this doesn't work 100% of the times, but it's totally worth trying. Other ways to go about quieting that inner critic is to ask yourself for factual evidence. What I've personally found is that my thoughts are not always substantiated. They are many times exaggerating or taking the negatives out of proportion. So asking myself, what is that factual evidence behind those thoughts helps me quiet or at least lower the volume of that inner critic word. Another tip is to talk to yourself as if you would talk to a friend. What advice would you give your best friend if he was the one fighting that inner critic? Finally, stop ruminating. I don't know about you, but when I feel that I make a mistake and I can't get it out of my head, and I kind of replay it over and over in my head, I found that talking myself out of it just makes it worse. Instead, I try to get distracted with other activities, preferably something that I enjoy doing. So I stop thinking about those things and critiquing myself. Number 7, think positively and rely on the power of positive affirmations. I am 100% convinced that when you are on a positive mindset, you feel more confident. That is why I found that incorporating an empowering positive quote into my morning routine helps me stay more positive and boost my confidence. I try to think about what challenges I'll be facing during that day, or what is that I want to focus on accomplish. And also what might throw me off, what might be some challenges that I might be facing today. And then I intentionally pick a quote or a word to fight those challenges. Something that reminds me that I can do this and enables me to stay positive and focused. I also found very helpful to revisit the quote throughout the day to keep it top of mind and boost my confidence. Number 8, remember and repeat to yourself that failure is not your enemy. The fear of failing is. When we lack self-confidence, we are afraid of failing. And it's that fear that prevents us from taking action, from speaking up, or doing something, or stop doing something. When we repeat to ourselves that failure is not the enemy, that failure is just part of success, and we are able to get past that, our self-confidence increases. In episode number 5 of this podcast, I talk about a different perspective on failure. If this is something that you struggle with or would like to get better at, I really invite you to go back and listen to episode number 5. Number 9, don't care about what others think. Be sure of one thing. There will always be someone who will not believe that you can do what you're setting yourself to do. There will always be someone that will tell you that your goal is too big or unachievable. Sometimes they will tell it directly to your face. Sometimes they would do it indirectly through their actions. Do not listen to them. Believe in yourself. Just think for a minute. If you listen to them and you stop before even trying, you know for sure that you will never accomplish your goal. But if you try, you have a chance. And if you believe in yourself, that chance just quickly multiplies. Your self-confidence is that multiplier effect. So stop listening to what others say and start listening to yourself and your ability to do what you set yourself to do. Finally, number 10, take care of yourself and pay attention to how you look. What do I mean by this? I truly believe that taking care of yourself has a direct correlation with your self-confidence. The days that I start my day working out, drinking my water, and eating a healthy breakfast, I feel more confident. I even stand taller. I also believe that what clothes you wear, how you stand or sit, in other words, your posture, influences your self-confidence. When I have an important meeting or event and I want to feel confident, I am very careful and intentional on what clothes I wear. I'm also mindful about sitting tall and taking a little bit more space. Even thinking about where in the room do I sit. I am a first row kind of person, but all things said, that impacts my self-confidence. I found that when I sit in the back and make myself small, I'm less confident to speak up. Sometimes that might be a good thing, but when I'm trying to make an impact, be active, make an impression, speak up, probably it's not a good idea. Be mindful on how that looks for you. Identify how these things may impact your self-confidence. Again, taking care of yourself, how you look, what clothes you wear, and your posture. Sometimes it's a matter of trial and error to come up with the right setup that works for you. What works for me might not be the same thing that works for you. That's why I'm encouraging you to think about in previous meetings, in previous situations where you felt really confident. How did you look? What clothes were you wearing? How were you sitting? Where in the room were you sitting? All those things matter. Okay, we came to the end of the episode. I hope, as always, that you found this episode helpful. If you like today's episode, I'm going to ask you to go to Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. Those reviews really help to boost the visibility of this podcast. If you're liking the podcast so far, please subscribe so you get reminded every time that a new episode comes live, which is every other week. Lastly, please share today's episode with someone that you think can benefit from today's content. And with that, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you again on another episode of the Leading Yourself podcast.